So, so Klaus, explain a little bit why, anything you want to add on that notion of, so explain why soil is alive, I guess, like the concept of living, diverse, rich soil and how that's different from dirt. And then explain the process of agriculture that you came to understand, the process of large scale agriculture, and why does that destroy the the core life and regenerative capacity of soil?
Yeah. So when you take a handful of healthy soil, there's more microbial life in that soil than there are people on the planet. It's just teeming with bacteria and microorganisms, which then in turn feed higher forms of life. So in a healthy soil, you will see worms and insects, which in turn feed birds and mammals, but they also feed plants, which in turn feed the mammals and birds and, and, and insects. And so there is a web of life that really originates inside the soil. And uh, what I have come to think is that if you just focus on the health of the soil, then everything else falls into place. The reason, the way that the soil microbiome gets damaged is with the application of chemicals. So the most prevalent one is synthetic nitrogen. Is made with natural gas. So it's an extraction of nitrogen through a process that burns fossil fuels, natural gas, and the application of herbicides and insecticides made from oil. So these chemicals disrupt the growth cycles. They disrupt the photosynthesis that brings nitrogen and carbon into the soil, deep into the soil, as a feedstock for the microbial life inside the soil. And mind you, I'm not a scientist, so I'm like using layman's terms here, trying to explain this. So when the application, then the other issue is monocropping. When each crop takes different nutrients out of the soil, some crops put nutrients into the soil. So since biblical times, I mean, there are references in the Old Testament about crop rotations and letting the soil rest, basically treating the soil as a living thing, which is what it is.
Yeah.
So you have
Yeah.
to nurture it. And when you like, I work all over the world, and I've met so many food producers, farmers, and food processors who talked about their soil making their product unique. Whether
Yeah.
that's in
Right.
Italy, where they call these enormous grains wonderful, or the French,
Yeah.
with their puff pastries. I mean, they only this
Yeah.
flour that only grows in this particular region, and they're grooming their soil generation after
Yeah.
generation to stay healthy, right? So we
Right.
have
Right.
completely lost this connection, with soil as a living thing. And so we're killing it inadvertently, because you put nitrogen on it and everything blooms for a while, but then it burns itself out. After 2 or 3 cycles, you have to put more nitrogen on it to keep going. And then when you use monocrops, the natural defenses that are in healthy soil also go away. So now you need to use herbicides to fight against invading weeds. You need insecticides, to fight back against predation. And all of a sudden, you have a chemical race, which is where we are right now. It is completely, entirely unsustainable. And so, and this is where the idea comes in. Sustainable, we could have talked about sustainable 20, 30 years ago, and shifted our practices to make sure that what we do maintains, the existing capacity instead of diminishing it. It's too late now. So now we need to rebuild, regenerate the soil back to life.